Hey all you cool cats and kittens, today we're going to learn about some fashion sketching. But first, a Butters update. So he seems to be doing a little bit better. He doesn't limp anymore from his leg being completely stretched out, I guess, from pulling that muscle. So he doesn't limp, which is good. But he has 100% taken over our bedroom. So who knows how that's gonna go. All right, back to what we're gonna be doing today. We are going to be conquering another layer of small fullness, and we are going to be sketching, comparing different types of fullnesses, and then also some sketching techniques to convey that fullness even more. So let's jump into it. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the different types of fullnesses. So right now, here we have an A-line skirt, right? We covered briefly in first semester about A-line and full and tubular and all that types of thing. Well, this is the A-line skirt, right? And we know it's an A-line skirt because it has that shape as an A. So this is one type of fullness in a skirt, and this is the type of skirt that we're going to be sketching today. In comparison to a full skirt, you see how it has a much fuller, it goes out a lot fuller from the waist to the hemline. And if you look closely, it has these kind of like folds in the fabric that just give it more of an opportunity to flare out more here at the bottom. So those are just like a little different comparisons to the skirt, the A-line skirt that we are going to be doing today. And I wanted to point this out because if you're designing something, it's very important for you to know how much fullness is in the garment and how to put that on paper so that whoever's helping you stitch or do the pattern work or anything like that can see how much fullness you want and won't go too narrow or won't go too big. So just important factors to think about when you're designing garments and how to design and that type of thing. Okay, so we're going to start with the bottom half first. This is what's going to be our top half. I know this is a dress, but we're just going to take the upper part of it. I'm going to teach you how to do more of the off the shoulder look, and we're going to take a look at this type of button-down shirt type of cuff. And I'm going to teach you how to get that cuff. All right. Okay, so let's get started with the skirt. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to tackle, just like we've been doing in our past two videos, is we're going to start at the waist. Okay, so I am just going to draw across my waistline, making sure to still keep my upside down L's going, right? We don't want to forget that that is the technique we are using, okay? And I am just gonna go down, use this leg as an anchor, go all the way down, and stop there for our A-line, making sure to have that small L as well, okay? Then I'm gonna come over here, go all the way down. Now I'm gonna use this hip as an anchor until I get past it, then I'm just gonna go straight down. And a little out, okay? And I'm also gonna make my L. All right, then I'm going to move across for the top layer, starting at this corner, moving across to the second corner. Okay. So this is our first layer, right, of our frowny face. And we've started our back layer, which is going to be behind her leg. So we're just going to finish that by continuing on the other side of her legs. Like so. Okay? So just to recap, if I went too fast, we went down on both sides, did our L's, okay, did our L's, then we made our frowny face from corner to corner, and then we continued our back layer from starting at leg to other leg, okay? That's what makes it look like tubular and round, right? Which is what we want. Okay. Now there's a detail about this skirt that again you do not have to do. I'm gonna lightly touch it, and it is the buttons in the middle. So those buttons in the middle, right? And we kind of see that the fabric is that's where it's connected. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to go over this detail slightly. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start at the center and put a line right down the middle. Now notice I didn't make a straight line, right? Because our skirt is kind of doing this type of motion, right? We have this line and this line, so it's kind of going in this type of curved motion. It's not completely straight because of the way her body is. So that's why I didn't do just a straight down line. I did a middle line that was going to form to the curve of our skirt, okay? Of our skirt. After I do that, I'm going to come to the bottom here and erase that. Now you notice that the two fabrics, they're on top of one another. So instead of having it to where our skirt kind of looks like this at the bottom, like a T, you know, we don't want that. We want to show some dimension, right? So we don't want that. So we're going to make it look, again, we're going to have this L, and then we're just going to have this line come up right above where our L is. And that's going to give the effect that it's on top of something. Okay? So I'm going to come down and then do my L, just like that. Ooh, might want to erase some of it to clean it up. So come down, do the L, and then for this line, I'm going to go slightly above my L and come back in. So this kind of effect gives a layered look. The garment is laying on top of itself and not just meeting in the middle. Okay, and then we can do the buttons, which just buttons, and I would stop right about there. Okay, so just a small little detail. You do not have to do that. I just wanted to teach you guys how to do this little trick here whenever the fabric is laying on itself, because that will come into play later. All right, so that's our skirt. So now let's look at our shirt. Okay, so just to recap of what our shirt looks like, we're going to be taking particular interest in this top area, and then we're going to redo this cuff, and also be sure to do some of this fullness that are shown in these sleeves, okay? And how, again, I know that there's fullness in these sleeves is that they're not quite straight to wrap around her arm. or they're not as tight to her arms. So they have a little bit of fullness, not a lot, just a little bit. And that's what we're gonna focus on for our top portion. So I'm gonna put that aside. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna tackle is her neckline. All right, and that's off the shoulder, goes right across. So kind of like how we did with the waist, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna go slightly past her where her body starts. Go right across. Okay. And then I'm gonna create my little L's. Okay. Then I am gonna do this little middle detail. It's kind of like I guess I want to say it's supposed to be like a collar that's off of it. I'm gonna bring those out. Okay, and because it's off of it, we're going to make our little L to enclose that little detail. Okay, and what I mean by on top of it, our picture, you can see that this section is definitely on top of the rest of the garment, right? This section right here is on top of the rest of the garment. So we're gonna see, we're gonna make our sleeves come out from underneath that little detail. Okay. So we did the detail, and I'm just gonna come out of one sleeve, and notice that I didn't go straight, close to her body, right? I just did it over, touching away from her arm. Okay, you could even go as far as to kind of make this go in and come out, and that gives like a little indication of how full this garment actually is. Okay, so we could just leave that. All right, so then I'm gonna do the next arm. I'm gonna go straight down, and I'm gonna stop at the wrist, okay? Because that's where it seems that our garment stops. And then we get into the cuff. Okay, so for the cuff, kind of zoomed you in here a little bit. So I stopped here at our sleeve, and now we're gonna make this cuff. Now, a cuff can be flipped, two ways on the wrist. It could be flipped completely down, or it can be flipped up, okay? But right now, we're just gonna do where it's completely down. Okay, so with this, like this, we are going to create that cross line, connecting the two like so. Then we're gonna go down from that cross line, and we're gonna go down to about where her thumb almost starts, because that's what our picture indicates. And then this is where we're going to put our L. Go L like this, L like that, right? To show that the cuff is around her hand and not stamped on top of her hand. And then we're gonna make our frowny face. Okay? All right, let's go back up to her torso. All right, so we're back at her torso. I'm gonna make it seem like this shirt is tucked into the skirt, So how you would do that is I'm not using the full body as a line. I'm away from her body. And I'm just gonna go past her waist, and then I'm gonna kind of like bubble in. Okay, so let's recap. So I'm gonna go past her waist, and I'm gonna kind of drag that back up like so, and I'm gonna make a little frowny face from her waist to the curve that I made. Kind of go like that. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. So we have her waist here. My line goes past that waist, goes inward to make that L, and then a little frowny face from the corner to her waist. And it looks like the shirt is tucked in. You could even do more little lines to emphasize that it's tucked in. Maybe some like pull lines to see where it's tucked in. Okay. And that's how you do an A-line and an off the shoulder with a cuff. Okay. I hope this has helped you. I hope this has been helpful for you. We have a lot more videos to come with different types of techniques. I love seeing all of you guys' designs and pictures that you are turning in. And I love seeing the progress from our first video to our second video. You guys seem to really be getting the hang of it. And just don't feel discouraged if something doesn't look quite right or looks kind of off. The best thing you can do is just practice, right? And you can take any picture online and see how it fits on the body and see how it flows on the body and just try to practice that. Again, these are all just principles to get you familiar with fashion sketching. If you are planning on taking me next year, a lot of our stuff is based off of design. So that's based off of like what you interpret it as, and for you to be able to express that. And the best way to be able to express a design is through sketching. So don't get discouraged if you feel like your sketches aren't the best. The best thing you could do is just take what I am doing and try to implement it, and just to keep practice. But you guys are doing such a good job. I'm so proud of all the stuff that you've been turning in, and just keep up the good work, and I will see you next week. Bye.